G'day, thanks for joining us at Next Level Oz. We're David and Paula, and we're preparing for our lap of Australia on our big lap gap year. In this episode, we make our way towards the magnificent Carnarvon Gorge, and along the way we stop into some free camps and drop into Emerald and Fairburn Dam, one of Paula's childhood homes. Thanks for joining us and hope you enjoy the episode. Well, this is an interesting potential overnight spot. This is just absolutely insane. We were going to stop at Longreach and do the Qantas Museum, which was not a priority, or the Stockman's Hall of Fame. Unfortunately for us, there was a few roadworks and a few other things going on the road from Winton, which meant that we couldn't get to the last full session of the Stockman's Hall of Fame, and didn't want to sort of be late into tomorrow before we did it. So we've decided to give that a miss, and we've pushed through towards the east and just stopped for lunch at Ilfracombe, which is a great place to stop. We had lunch at the Wellshot Hotel, and and they were really pleasant. And we got in, didn't feel like a beer, of course, and actually asked for coffee. And they hadn't long switched the coffee machine off, but they were more than happy to turn the machine back on and made us coffee. And the coffee actually was pretty good, to be honest, and for a pub. So they're catering for all the market. Very pleasant place to stop. You're only 30 kilometres out of Longreach, but I think we've decided that we'll push through and try and find a free camp somewhere on the road between here and Emerald, probably Jericho or Alpha.
Oh, look, Bertie. Drove the shearing shed equipment. Wow.
Yeah, it's an interesting collection of farm, station, and other machinery, and just a good excuse. Just a good excuse to get out and stretch the legs. And I keep saying this, but you've got to take your hat off to the leaders in some of the local communities. And here, what was then Ilfracombe Shire, which I think has now been integrated into Longreach Regional Council as part of the amalgamation. There was this period during the 90s and the 2000s where transport was getting better, cars and fuel economy was getting better, and people were pushing through, and they didn't have an excuse to stop at some of the smaller towns. And there was this real push on to find things to make people stop, take a break, buy something from the local services, or, and if you could, even keep people to stay overnight. And that's what a lot of the big things were all about around Australia. And this is just a really good example of what Ilfracombe did. It was a really good example of what a number of councils did, but you know, these are the interesting little bits of history you pick up when you're travelling around country Australia. Very few people would have heard of the Battle of Romani, but it was a significant battle which essentially signalled securing the sewers in the First World War, and it was the last of the battles in the desert campaign where the sewers was a threat. The light horse prevailed. Yeah, and there are obviously other more famous battles in and around that desert campaign that people will have heard of, like the assault on Beersheba and others. But Romani was quite significant in its own right. And you'll see these names, Romani, Ellarish, you'll see them echoed in various places in and around country Australia. When I pulled in, there are only a limited number of spots, but I wasn't thinking and came a little bit too close to these trees, and you've got to be careful. Fortunately, I haven't scratched the windows, but you can actually do some damage to your van and to windows and those sorts of things as you come in. Now I'll just have to be careful as I pull out so I don't sort of swing into the low-lying branches. Trap for young players. Look out. And we've just entered into the Central Highlands Regional Council area from the Barcaldine Shire area. Bit brisk. Well, this is an interesting potential overnight spot. Wiki Camps has it as a place to stay overnight. You'd only get a couple of vans in here, but it is pretty, and we'll show some footage. We just decided to stop as we're entering into the Central Highlands region. Really just have a look at it because we'd seen it on Wiki Camps. We weren't in a position to stop there last night, but we thought we'd have a look and check it out. You never know in the future. A bit breezy, bit cool in the morning, and there's only one or two spots that you could actually get a van into. But you know, if you're just a rooftop tent or overnighter, again, not a bad place, and be very scenic to wake up to and to go to sleep to. Well, we've had an interesting day today. We did a stopover at Alpha in central Queensland. It was just a night stop at a truck and vehicle stop. Not too bad. Certainly quiet after dark. A couple of trucks came in late and left very early this morning. Big trucks, big mining type trucks. But they were good, and it is a truck stop at the end of the day. There was some bathrooms, toilets, showers there, which were simple but relatively clean for something like that, and then got up reasonably early, not ridiculously early, to go into Emerald and do some shopping and get ready for the next leg. But we've diverted out of Emerald now, and we've come down to Fairburn Dam. And Fairburn Dam is a bit of a treat for Paula. Paula's father, Wilton, was one of the engineers when Fairburn Dam was built, and for part of Paula's life she lived out here. How old were you when you came out?
I was early primary school, so 6, something like that.
6, 7?
Yeah, something like
Grade
that.
2 you came out here?
Yeah.
So. And you lived in Emerald before that?
Yes. Started school in Emerald.
And we think your house was somewhere just up on this
Up on this hill.
behind us, but it doesn't look like the houses are there anymore. At the Emerald Dam, it's a significant achievement when you have a look at what's been done here. Without the Emerald Dam, you wouldn't have had the significant increase in irrigated agriculture here in Emerald, and of course supporting the mining industry as well. Some picnic areas out here as well. It's being a significant part of the development of Emerald and the Central Highlands region.
We're just heading up to the lookout now.
What do you remember out here?
I remember the spillway, or part of the spillway. I remember the water. I remember the house we lived in. It was a basic house, but it was home.
Yeah.
We had a big backyard with all the animals that you had. It was a happy time.
Yeah, and you got to meet, sort of some of the families that worked up here.
It became a big family. We all celebrated birthdays and Christmases together. I can remember one year Dad was Father Christmas.
He was too skinny then, Father Christmas.
Oh, I know, he had to wear padding. Oh dear. Yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah, but it's absolutely, we've just come up to the lookout, so we're down in one of the picnic areas, and we got some drone footage which we'll edit in, and but the lookout gives you a very good view of the dam, and we've got both some video footage and some stills here which will show you. But you can see what a significant piece of engineering it is, and contributing to the irrigation area. Good memories, and it's just something a little bit different. And we also we also went to your first house, didn't we?
Oh yes, in Emerald. Yes, that was a bit weird.
That was a bit weird. And where was that, in Emerald?
On Racecourse Road.
On Racecourse Road, and hopefully we've got some video footage there that Paula was too busy looking, so the camera was going all over the place and I was driving. So we don't actually know how the videography went in that particular case, but not too bad. Tonight we're going to spend just one night at a local sort of, it's not a free camp, it's a private sort of campground property. But it's closer here to the dam than going back into town, which we don't necessarily want to do now. And then we'll head out of the Fairburn Dam Road and Springshore Road and head down to Springshore and see if we can get one of the campsites down there. We're expecting a bit of weather from tomorrow. I've got to make a couple of calls for some work, things that people have contacted me about. So we'll do that while we've got coverage, and then the day after that we're heading into Carnarvon Gorge.
Yeah, should be good.
Okay. Anything else you want to see now?
No.
No? Had enough?
Are we going back over there?
I think we're going to go back over the spillway.
Yep.
Paul had a funny story. Paula's brother was young, but wouldn't let go of his dummy.
No.
I'm actually sure we should tell this story.
Or pacifier, as they call them now.
As they call them now. And he didn't... that's right, we're not allowed to call them dummies anymore.
No.
I mean, that's sort of insulting them. And they're just like rubber pacifiers.
Yeah. But as it goes, Mum and Dad threw it over the spillway so that he couldn't use it anymore. I think they might have regretted that initially.
It sort of gave him a sense of finality.
Yes. Except at that age you don't really understand that.
Anyway, we'll go and find our overnight spot and pick you up next time we see you.
Look how pretty.
It's such a small world. On social media we saw that a school friend that we hadn't seen for 40 years was coincidentally heading towards Carnarvon Gorge at the same time as we were. So once we'd settled into our site, we decided we'd head up to Sandstone Park where she was staying and also see the sunset. As it actually worked out, that location is probably actually better if you're fully self-contained like we are in the place we're at. So we caught up and watched a spectacular sunset and a whole ton of bats.
The amphitheatre, which is here, east, and then we walk back.
Thanks for joining Next Level Oz. We hope you can stick around for the next episode because we're going to spend the next few days exploring Carnarvon Gorge. Is it worth the walk up?
Yes, definitely.
Did you get wet feet?
I did.
Watch out. Call me crazy. I've got up. It's 5:30 in the morning. So I'm about to get the first river crossing today. So good way up when you get up here. Again, thanks for joining us. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember, 100% of our YouTube advertising revenue goes to charity.